Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. All right, welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast, the official podcast of the Red Towel Trust Collective. And we are a member of the College Huddle podcast community. If you're not already doing so, give us a follow on all the social medias. And another thing you can do to help us out, whatever platform you're listening on, give us a rate, a review, leave a comment, drop a like. We'd love to hear your feedback on how we're doing. Help us out with the algorithm. And as always, this episode is brought to you by the Fireman Moving Company. The Fireman Moving Company is the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you're looking to move sometime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote. Let the pros do it. They'll get you moved fast and efficient and just make your life easier, I promise you. Got Tyler here with me, man. We're continuing the position series breakdown, man. You ready to dive in?
Yeah, man, today's going to be a good one. Let's get into it and let's unpack these players that we're going to be talking about.
But before we do that, we have to dive into our Red Towel wrap-up, which is brought to you by Trent Bedding Company and catches us up on all the athletic news that we've missed since we last recorded. So let's get a word from Trent Bedding.
Don't forget your headboard, pillows, and your sheets. We got everything you need for a good night's sleep. Number one on the same check, best of Bowling Green.
All right. Hey! Twins, full, queen and king, mattresses for anything. Come and pick it out and we can bring it to your house. Have you sleeping real good before the weekend's out. Trent Bedding. It's just like a mattress store. Hey.
And also, I'm not going to lie, a few years ago, I went to Trent Bedding and I built my own pillows, right? Because I had that pillow build machine there. Dude, I put some down filling in them pillows. Still sleep on them to the day. They're so comfy. But let's get into the Red Towel wrap-up. Starting off, WKU baseball pitcher Jacob Bemby was drafted in the MLB draft by the Pirates in the 11th round, pick 364. Closer Mason Burns was selected by the Cardinals in the 14th round, pick 411th. And pitcher Grant Burleson selected by the Astros in the 18th round, pick 553. Congrats to our newest pro tops.
Yeah, 3 Hilltoppers drafted in the Major League Baseball draft. We had the most selections in Conference USA, which I just think is a tribute to the team and the turnaround that Coach Rardon and staff have had in just 2 years. So obviously, congratulations to those guys, and I'm looking forward to watching them as they continue their pro careers, and obviously, continue to watch what that baseball program does as they're still on the rise.
Moving on, WKU volleyball coach Jenna Otek signed with the Grand Rapids Rise of the Professional Volleyball League. Congratulations, Jenna.
Yeah, so she's now teammates with Paige Briggs-Romine, who I think we announced one of our last couple episodes had signed with them here in the off season. So Coach Jenna Otek had been with us for a couple years now. I guess she got the itch to play professionally. She had been coaching for a few years now. She came from Purdue. She was a 2-time All-American there at Purdue. So she was a pretty good libero when she was playing, and she's not very far removed from her playing days. So she decided to give it a try. I think that is going to be it for her coaching days for now. I don't think she can do both. But we look forward to watching and supporting whatever she does in the Professional Volleyball League.
Moving on to softball, WKU softball announced the addition of Lindsay Warwick as their director of operations. Welcome to the Hill, Lindsay.
Yeah, it looks like a good hire. She came from Indiana University from what I saw. She gave us a follow immediately when we tagged her and said congratulations and welcome to the Hill. So congratulations to her and welcome to the Hill, Lindsay.
The WKU basketball versus Jackson State date was revealed as being played on November 20th by Jackson State's X account.
Yeah, the WKU basketball schedule is just, I mean, it seems like every day there's another game coming out. We're getting real close to having a full non-conference schedule completed, and the conference schedule's already been released. So, you know, by the end of this month or maybe early August, it feels like we're going to have that full schedule and kind of know what that looks like. The roster is done. We're looking at some 2025 commitments coming up here soon. So really excited for the basketball schedule and how that's shaping up.
The WKU football game at Sam Houston on 10/16 has been changed to a 6 p.m. kickoff instead of a 7 p.m. kickoff.
Hey, 1 hour earlier for us old heads here that want to get to bed early, or somebody that's going to have a newborn at home or has to be up at 3 o'clock every morning. I'm sure Tyler's not mad that the game's going to start at 6, be over by 9ish or so. So, might be able to get some sleep with the baby and with work at 3 a.m. the next day. So good move, I think.
Oh, I agree with you. It's a great move. Hopefully, I get some sleep because I'm probably going to be losing some. WKU basketball got a commitment in the class of 2025 from Armello Boone. He is a 6'3" guard from Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah, he looks like a really good player. When we shared his commitment, the first thing I naturally did was went looking for some clips, some highlights. Found some of his AAU playing clips, and he's a really athletic, plays above the rim. He's aggressive, looks to be a good defender, good scorer. And obviously he has another year high school ball ahead of him, and then he'll be on the hill this time next year. So really excited for that first commitment in the 25 class. Congratulations, Armello.
And that concludes the Red Towel Wrap-Up, brought to you by the Trent Bedding Company, where if you want good pillows, go there. Moth, back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good Red Towel wrap up. A lot of good news and good information there. But we are continuing the 2024 WKU Football Position Series breakdown. Today, we are talking about the offensive line. As always, we are going to be referencing the Phil Steele College Football Preview Magazine and the WKU Sports online roster for all of our information and data that we are quoting. Now, the offensive line unit, they are ranked the 4th best unit in Conference USA. We are behind Liberty, New Mexico State, and Jacksonville State. They are coached by first-year coach here at Western, Joe Bernardi. We talked about him in the coaches episode. He came here from Troy, where he previously had coached the offensive line, and he brought several friends with him. I think we had 3 or 4 other Troy transfers that joined us here on the hill. So really excited for those relationships and what he's brought to the hill already before he's ever coached one game. Really excited for how he's going to lead that group of men. As always, we're going to talk about the losses to the offensive line group. And first, we have to talk about center Vinny Murphy, who transferred to Tulane. We lost left tackle Mark Good, who has decided to medically retire due to some injuries he sustained. Right tackle Wes Dorsey transferred to UCF. Wyatt Anderson has transferred, and his commitment is still undecided. And then Mason Williams has transferred, and he went to Incarnate Word. So Tyler, talk to us about these guys we've lost and how it's going to affect the program.
It seems like, especially last year, whenever you always see Benny Murphy out there, Mark Good, Wes Dorsey, and it's going to be hard to replace him because they did bring experience. They did bring a lot of game start. They started a lot of games together, so that kind of knowing each other is familiarity. I guess you could say is going to be hard to replace. And I mean, this unit only gave up 13 sacks a year ago or last season, so. They're going to leave some big shoes to fill, but I feel like we got the guys that we're going to be talking about that can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels like our offensive line is the last 2 to 3 years. We've lost at least 2 starters every single year. The portal, like we always say, it giveth and it taketh away. So it definitely took some good guys with a lot of playing experience away. But we also brought in some talent. Let's talk about some of the guys we added. First of all, we added Blake Austin. He is a transfer from Troy. He's number 79. He's a 6'4", 293-pound redshirt senior. We also brought in Stacy Wilkins. He's a transfer from University of Louisiana Monroe. He's number 71. He's a 6'6", 306-pound redshirt senior. Then we brought in Gabe Arnold. He's a high school signee. He's number 75. He's a 6'6", 319-pound freshman. And then lastly, we brought in Gabe Claybrook. He's also a high school signee. He's number 68. He is a 6'5", 272-pound true freshman. So Tyler, we lost some talent, but just looking real quickly at some of the guys that we added, we also brought in some talent as well. So what about these guys we've added to the roster?
Well, I'm going to be real curious about Blake Austin. He came in from Troy. Last year, he played in all 14 games for them, and he helped Troy to 11-3 overall record. He also helped them get to a Sun Belt Conference championship, a berth in the Birmingham Bowl. And Troy finished the season 5th in the Sun Belt in total offense with 419.4 yards per game and 153.4 rushing yards per game and 266 passing. So I think he's going to add to. I don't think he's going to take away, to quote an older coach. But I feel I'm happy that he's here. I'm glad he transferred up here and followed his coach. Gabe Arnold, he came in. He's considered a 3-star prospect at the offensive tackle by 24/7 Sports and On 3, and a 2-star prospect according to Rivals. Rodney New, he ain't on there. But no, where's he at? You might have to clip this part because I'm looking for him. Stacy Wilkinson, he came to WKU after stints at ULM. He appeared in 11 games for the Warhawks, and it's good to have that other senior kind of, I guess, place there that, he has the experience, he has game time experience, and he kind of knows what to look out for. He's not some young kid, maybe a high schooler coming in. But honestly, I'm interested in this Gabe Arnold. I mean, he's 6'6", 319 pounds. The boy can eat up some space. I mean, he just sits there, low man wins. If he can get low and push them the defenders out of the way, I believe he's going to help our running game, if not this season, but definitely in the future.
Yeah, we definitely added some good prospects. I hope those freshmen get to sit and learn, go through a year of, conditioning and weight training and just, the college dietary needs to get their body right and ready to play. But we definitely brought in some talent to replace that talent. Some other guys that we also have on the roster filling out the depth chart, we have Hayden Todd. He's number 67. He's a 6'2", 280-pound redshirt sophomore. We have Rodney Newsome Jr., who is number 65. He's 6'3". He's a 295-pound redshirt sophomore. We have Michael Moment, number 62. He's a 6'3", 297-pound senior. Levy Johnson, number 56. He's a 6'3", 302-pound redshirt freshman. Colton Cable is number 72. He's a 6'4", 298-pound redshirt senior. Melvin Collins, number 77, 6'4", 328-pound junior. Michael Ondelacy, number 74, 6'7", 320 pounds, redshirt senior. Daryl Johnson, number 70, 6'5", 310-pound senior. And then lastly, Trayvon Taylor, number 73, who's a 6'4", 336-pound redshirt senior. So a lot of size there, a lot of upperclassmen there. Tyler, what about these guys that are on the depth chart that are also on the roster, and what maybe we can expect from them?
Well, a few of these guys, they didn't see a lot of playing time, kind of like Michael Ondelacy. He played in 11 games, but he's mostly on special teams. But at least he knows the system and he knows what the coaches want from him. Melvin Collins, I mean, 6'4", 328 pounds. I was impressed by Gabe Arnold, but I mean, man, you look at him. The boy is cornbread fed from the stock. I mean, it's going to be hard to move him. Hopefully he can move himself and get out of the way of the running backs, or if the quarterback wants to sneak it, hopefully push ahead and get them extra yardage. Trayvon Taylor, he spent 4 seasons at Alabama State, where Last season, they averaged nearly 300 yards of offense per game, including 111 rushing yards. So I think they did bring in some players, or they got players that are definitely going to help with the run game. Maybe, that could be signaling that they're hoping for more of a dynamic rushing this season. I kind of hope so for what we're going to talk about in our next few episodes, because I need that for my hot take. But I mean, the guys they've got, like you said, big guys, a lot of upperclassmen. I'm happy to see that experience that they brought in, man.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of big bodies, 320, 326, 328, some big bodies that can move some men. When we get in those goal line situations or those short to gain situations, or, you just have to rotate players. That's a position on the field that, injuries happen, they get tired, long drives happen. But I like the depth. I like the size that we have. And we have a lot of upperclassmen, but we also have redshirt sophomores. We have redshirt freshmen, true freshmen. We just have a nice staggering of the classes, and a lot of experience there behind, these guys that are the projected starters. And, quite frankly, in an air raid and fast up tempo offense like we play, this offensive line is probably one of the most important positions on the field. We're going to be playing at tempo, playing at pace. We're going to have a lot of those short, quick hit passes, the screens, etc. Those body blows. But eventually, those plays are setting up those over the top long pass plays that we need to develop and unfold. And that quarterback, whoever it is back there, has to have the time and the blocking and the protection for those plays to develop, and somebody to get open. So here are the projected starters on the offensive line. And again, this is from the Phil Steele magazine. These are not our projected starters, but this is who we're going with. We're leaning on. At center, we have Evan Wibberly. He's number 58. He's a 6'5", 300-pound redshirt sophomore. At right guard, we have Wesley Horton. He's number 50. He's a 6'3", 303-pound redshirt junior. At left guard, we have Quantavius Leslie, number 78. He's a first-team Phil Steele All-CUSA team member. He is 6'3", 318 pounds. He is a senior. Then we have at right tackle, we have Marshall Jackson. He's number 53, and he is on the third team Phil Steele preseason All-CUSA team. He is 6'6", 299 pounds, and he's a redshirt junior. And then at left tackle, we have Stacy Wilkins. He's number 71. He's a 6'6", 322-pound senior. Looking at those five starters, the average height and weight of those five guys is 6'4.5", 305 pounds. So that is a big offensive line. I'm looking at you, Alabama. Usually you come into those P5 type of games and you're undersized, and that size and the depth kills you. I feel pretty good. Just on paper, obviously you got to line them up, you got to play them, but we've got big bodies and we have big depth as well. So, Tyler, tell me about these starters. What you think about them and what you expect from them.
Oh, you got to start with Quantavius Leslie, Tick. He started all 12 regular season games last season. He was named to the before the season started, he was named to the 2023 East-West Shrine Bowl 1000, and he was also on the 2023 Outland Trophy watch list. I mean, the guy has been awesome ever since he stepped foot on the field, and I don't expect nothing less from him. I feel like he's going to go out there and he's going to defend that quarterback as hard as he can. Marshall Jackson, last season he appeared in 12 of the WKU's games, and he had to start the last 6 because of injury. And he also blocked the kick that led to WKU winning the game in ODU, eventually winning the game in the bowl game. Wesley Horton, he moved into the starting role during the 2023 season, and it was a main contributor along WKU's offensive line. He started all 10 games he played during the season at right guard, so he's got that experience in there. And then Stacy Wilkinson, he's really the only new one that's starting. And like I said, he did awesome down there at ULM. And I'm expecting him to come in and keep the quarterback clean. Because, like I said, they have a lot of shoes to fill because we only allowed 13 sacks last season. I think that's ninth in the country, and I think maybe second in Conference USA, I believe, best of my memory. So, I mean, that's lofty goals and lofty standards that last year's offensive line set, and I believe these guys are up for it.
Yeah, another thing I want to touch on is, Quintavious Leslie. You talked about him and just, he's coming back for his senior year. He briefly entered the transfer portal there at the end of the season before the bowl game. I don't believe he played in the bowl game as he was exploring his options, but then he put a tweet out. He said, I'm finishing where I started, and had just a big picture of his back with his number, his jersey there. So, a lot of respect to him. That kind of loyalty. We talked about it last year with Malachi Corley. That kind of loyalty these days in college football is it's rare to see somebody that plays at one school all 4 years, starts there, finished there. He's been a high performer. He's been all conference, at least the last 3 years. So he's just been a solid player. He had options to go other places. If you look at his On3 profile, I think Miami and Florida State were crystal balled for him to go there. So, he had the potential to go somewhere else, go P5, go make more money than I'm sure we can offer him here. But, that loyalty, he decided to, I'm going to finish where I started. So welcome back, Tick, man. We're glad to have you. Now we're going to jump into the 4 questions that we're going to ask of every single position. So, Tyler, who is going to be your hardest to replace on this offensive line?
I'm gonna go Vincent Murphy. I feel like he's going to be the hardest to replace. He came in, he had some SEC experience with South Carolina. Came in, he did really good for the team. That's going to be my hardest to replace.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list now. The guys we lost, and obviously three starters there: Vinny Murphy, Mark Good, Wes Dorsey. But I think I'm also going to go with Vinny Murphy as my hardest to replace. He was that starting center. He took over after Rusty Stats transferred. And he was a real good player here. Really enjoyed his family, got to meet them, tailgating a few times. But that center position on the offensive line is always kind of looked at as kind of like the leader. The person that literally is touching the ball every single play. So Vinny Murphy and just that experience and just that poise, that steady hand that he brought, so we're going to be starting a new center this year. Right now it's penciled in as Evan Wibberly. So that's a very important position. So I think Vinny is definitely the hardest to replace. Who do you have penciled in as your breakout player this year?
That's going to be Evan Wibberly. Funny enough, he was mostly playing on special teams last season, and he was also on first team. He was the All Conference USA All Freshman team last season. He came in, was kind of put on the spot during that bowl game. I'm expecting bigger things from him since he has. Sorry about that. Since he has got the taste of the starting spot.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a different guy, and I'm going to go with Stacey Wilkins, and I'm going with him because I would want to go with Quintavious, but obviously he's already broken out. He's been a solid player here for a number of years, but I think that left tackle position is really important. When you have a right-handed quarterback, you got to protect that blind side. You got to keep them clean. Can't let them get blindsided and fumble the ball. So I think Stacey Wilkins, he brings in a lot of experience. You talked about him playing at ULM, played a little bit at Oklahoma before that. So, has some big time experience and a lot of playing experience under his belt. And he's 6'6", 322 pounds. He's a senior. I mean, that man is going to be hard to move and hard to get around. So I'm really excited to see him out there at left tackle. So give me Stacey Wilkins. Who is going to be your MVP of the offensive line unit?
Oh, this one's going to be Quintavious Leslie. The dude is a beast and has a litany of awards that go along with his experience. Like we said, he's been balling out for the last 3 years, and I don't expect him to slow down or stop this season. So I'm going with Leslie.
Yeah, give me Leslie as well. It's kind of a coin flip with him and Wilkins to me. Kind of those senior guys. But I think Leslie is quite obviously going to be the leader in that room. He's the senior. He's been here all 4 years. He knows the scheme. He knows the expectations. He's going to know all the calls and signals and everything on the field. So, he's going to be my MVP. He's going to be the most important to help coach and teach up these new guys that are working into starting rotations, or even the depth chart guys that are rotating onto the field. So give me Quantavius Leslie. He's my MVP. Now, what about your bold prediction for the offensive line?
All right, so I've said this a few times previously. They only allowed 13 sacks. They kept the quarterback really clean. I'm going to continue riding with that trend, and I think this year they're only going to allow 7 sacks this season. I was going to say 6, but I'll give them that one extra 7 sacks.
That's bold. I like it. I mean, 13 sacks is 1 per game, so I mean that's a good average. I mean, if you're only giving up 1 sack per game, that's pretty good. And I think we all know that Austin Reed was a little injured last year. He was wearing a huge knee brace. He wasn't as mobile as what we saw in his first year here. So I'm also going with a similar bold prediction. I'm not going as scorching hot as yours is. I think we allow less sacks because I think whichever quarterback we have back there, if it's Caden or if it's TJ, I think both of those guys are a little bit more mobile and elusive and can get the ball out and not allow themselves to be sacked. So I think we're going to decrease our number of sacks. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's 10 or less total sacks allowed on the season. So give me that as my bold prediction for the offensive line. Man, these position breakdowns now are coming down, nearly to an end. We've kind of booked through them this off season. The season is drawing ever closer. We're about 5-6 weeks away from now from going to Alabama, going to Tuscaloosa August 31st, and kicking off the season with an upset at Alabama in prime time, an evening game under the lights. So, man, this has been a really, really, really fun episode. Just a really fun exercise talking about every position on this roster. If your name as a football player is listed in the Field Steel magazine, or it's listed on the transfer portal tracker pages, or if it's listed on the WKU Sports online football roster, we have said your name, we have said your number, your height and your weight, your class, and at least talked about you briefly and what we expect from you, either as a new player, as a returning player, or as a potential starter. So, I really enjoy and look forward to this part of our podcasting process as we prepare for the football season. We've said it multiple times. It makes us better fans. We become more knowledgeable of the roster, who we lost, who's coming back, what kind of production, who's going to need to step up, who the go-to players are going to be. And it just really makes us better fans, better observers of our football team. And hopefully the people listening and tuning in to every position are taking away the same things that we are, seeing that we have a lot of talent on this football team in every single position. All of our positions, except for running back, I think we're highly ranked by Field Steel. And we talked about the running back rankings, why we think they were so low. But there is a lot of talent on this team. It is expected that Liberty is going to be, the clear-cut favorite, coming into this year. Media Day is just a week away as we're recording now. Those preseason rankings will come out real soon, leading up to next Tuesday. Liberty's going to have all the votes for number 1. And it's going to be us and Jacksonville State 2 and 3. You can almost guarantee that. But we have enough talent and returning talent and known talent on this roster, and we've added to what we've lost from last year, that we can for sure compete for the conference championship. We're not out of it. This time last year we were the favorite. We thought with the pieces we had returning that we should be the clear-cut favorite on paper to win the conference championship. but that's why you play the games. We don't on paper we had a really good football team, but we went through a lot of adversity, a lot of injuries, and just new names, new people, new places, new coaches, and just didn't win as many ball games as we would have liked to have won. Clean slate. We start all over 2024. New football team, some new coaches, some new players, and a lot of returning players and coaches as well. So, we definitely have the team and the ability to make some noise and go out there and compete for a championship. That is the expectation. We want to make a bowl game every year. We want to play for a championship every year. And we definitely have the team and the coach and the players that can go out and do that. And I'm excited that we got to talk about all of them. And I'm looking forward, to this season starting in just, it's like 46 days away at this point. It's really close. It's really close at this point. So I'm really excited for that. Obviously this position series breakdown has been fun. Our next episodes will be the season preview, and then we'll get into that week 1 preview with Alabama just shortly after that, before that week 1 matchup. So, man, it's here. College football, the football game is here, and now the season is here. So, Tyler, hit us with your final words and take us on out of here.
You was talking about the lowest ranking units on WKU. Our defensive line was 7, linebackers are 6. I don't feel like they are warranted to be that low. Yes, we have lost some players, and yes, we are rebuilding. But I mean, if there's one thing Helton can do, and that we've seen, it's that he can get players from the portal. He can fill holes, and he can make those guys play. I'm excited to hear the pads, hit each other. I'm ready to hear the roar of the crowd in Houchin-Smith Stadium and watch the games that I can't make to on TV or to listen to Randy Lee on the radio. This, like you said, and I'm going to echo you, this position breakdown has been fun. It's been educational. Doing homework with each other, or not with each other, but doing homework, and then comparing notes, comparing the 4 questions that had to be answered at the end of every episode. It's crazy that our wide receivers were mostly tonight. I think was the most that our answers matched up. But I can't wait to be back in Houchin-Smith Stadium to see these guys play, because I know they're going to try their best. I know they're going to put on a show. It's going to be a great season. Liberty, I never heard of her. MTSU, I know there was on Twitter, there was some spat between like one of their dudes versus it was someone, and it wasn't you, was it? Where it was like the guy posted a picture of My Pretty Little Pony or whatever coming out of the tunnel. It was looking like a little furry that deserves absolutely no respect whatsoever. It's a cute mascot. I'm not going to say it's terrifying. Big Red will at least eat you. He has done that to fans and cheerleaders alike. But I'm not scared of any player, any team in Conference USA, because they can be beaten. I don't care who MTSU got as a head coach. You're still trash. This year's not going to be your year. Your quarterback, every time we play you, he just keeps throwing interceptions to us. Our defense is his best offensive player. So I think, I think this is going to be a great year for WKU football. I'm ready to play college football 25. I didn't get the pre-order edition, so I got to wait a little bit longer. But this is fun. Phil Steele, our Bible, WKUsports.com, very helpful as always. And I think it's awesome that every player that commits their name or their selves to this university gets talked about and gets shown at least some respect for what they put themselves and what they put their body through. Because football, tough sport, especially college football. They're beat up and they still get up every morning ready to do it again. So with that said, I will say, let's go Tops. Get ready to play some football. Can't wait to be able to watch it. hopefully I'll be able to go down to Alabama. Hopefully our child's coming soon. So it's looking like I may be able to, because I may be able to get away for a little bit. And I'll be able to make my first trip down to Tuscaloosa. I'm excited about that. Can't wait to be there as we beat Alabama. I'm calling it. I'm going to put on them red lenses of my glasses and just wear the hell out of them. But with that, I'll say, Moff, who has better than us, bro?
Nobody, buddy. You always know it.
You know.
Go Tops.
Go Tops, y'all.
Later, guys.
See you.